As the Ukraine-Russia conflict nears its 1,000-day milestone, the war has escalated into a sustained, grinding conflict that has reshaped global security and geopolitics. What started as a rapid invasion has morphed into a prolonged and complex conflict. With significant advances in the weaponization of drones, geopolitical maneuvering, and fluctuating international alliances, this conflict has severely impacted both countries, with civilian casualties, economic consequences, and substantial shifts in both nations' domestic policies. Ukraine's recent drone strike on Moscow, marking the largest such attack on the Russian capital since the war began in 2022, reflects a notable escalation in tactics. This analysis will unpack the ongoing conflict, exploring its complex military strategies, drone warfare advancements, and the potential impact of incoming U.S. leadership under President-elect Donald Trump. With a reading time designed for approximately 10 minutes, this report will also consider the broader implications of the war on European stability and international relations. On a recent Sunday morning, Ukrainian forces launched an unprecedented drone attack on Moscow, involving at least 34 drones. This assault caused temporary closures at Moscow's three major airports, Domodedovo, Sheremetyevo, and Zhukovsky, and resulted in 5 injuries. Video footage, widely shared on social media, showed drones buzzing ominously over the cityscape, underlining a psychological shift for Russian citizens who had largely been shielded from the direct impacts of the war. Russia's Ministry of Defense reported that its air defenses managed to intercept all drones targeting Moscow, with some destroyed over Moscow's Ramenskoye and Kolomna districts, and 50 additional drones neutralized over other parts of western Russia. These defensive actions underscore Russia's highly sophisticated anti-drone infrastructure, built to protect key locations, including the Kremlin, from aerial threats. Moscow's air defense umbrella, a network of radar, anti-drone jammers, and interceptor missiles, reflects the advanced strategies both sides are now employing in this conflict. While no significant structural damage occurred in Moscow due to this recent attack, the scale and visibility of the assault sent a clear signal. Moscow, typically considered insulated from frontline warfare, is no longer immune from direct confrontation. For the city's residents, the drone attack disrupted the day-to-day routine, revealing that even the heart of Russia can be reached by Ukrainian strikes. In retaliation, Russia responded with an even larger wave of drone attacks on Ukraine, reportedly involving a record-breaking 145 drones. Ukraine's Air Force managed to intercept and down 62 of these drones, but many still reached their targets, causing significant damage to civilian infrastructure in regions such as Odessa. This coordinated assault hit at least 13 regions, demonstrating Russia's intent to use aerial attacks as a means of destabilizing Ukrainian cities and undermining morale. The reliance on drone technology has transformed the Ukraine-Russia conflict into a new kind of warfare. Drones, initially used for surveillance and reconnaissance, have evolved into highly capable attack vehicles, carrying payloads designed to inflict damage on both military and civilian targets. The use of drone technology in this way represents a tactical shift that combines traditional military strategy with modern technology, challenging the conventional models of warfare. For Ukraine, drone warfare has offered a means to project power despite limited resources. By targeting Russia's symbolic capital, Ukrainian forces aim to signal resilience, garner international support, and highlight Russia's vulnerability. On the other hand, Russia's vast arsenal of drones, coupled with its advanced electronic jamming capabilities, has enabled it to launch regular assaults on Ukrainian territory, extending the range and frequency of attacks. Moscow has invested heavily in a robust air defense system, often referred to as its umbrella, comprising multiple layers of electronic defenses and anti-aircraft systems. This intricate defense network includes advanced electronic jamming devices to disrupt the communication of enemy drones, as well as interceptor missiles designed to neutralize aerial threats before they reach high-value targets. The goal is clear: prevent any attack from reaching the heart of the Russian government or strategic facilities. This defensive infrastructure extends beyond mere hardware. It involves an advanced, integrated approach to electronic warfare. Moscow's air defenses are fortified with radar systems capable of detecting and tracking aerial threats from significant distances. Advanced signal jamming and anti-drone weaponry have been deployed around key installations, with layered defenses to address everything from small commercial drones to military-grade UAVs. This technological investment underscores the importance Moscow places on shielding itself from potential attack, especially as Ukraine's drone capabilities grow increasingly sophisticated. Drone warfare has introduced a new dimension of psychological tension, both for soldiers on the front lines and civilians in urban centers. The constant, unpredictable threat of drone strikes creates a persistent sense of vulnerability and fear. And the presence of drones overhead has altered the experience of conflict for both Ukrainian and Russian citizens. Footage of drones executing strikes, whether shared through official channels or as propaganda, underscores the visceral nature of this modern warfare. For civilians, the suddenness and unpredictability of drone attacks are particularly unsettling. In cities like Kyiv, repeated Russian drone strikes have disrupted daily life, creating a sense of constant anxiety and requiring residents to remain on alert for incoming aerial threats. This psychological burden mirrors the experience in Moscow, where, despite the initial resilience of the populace, the threat of repeated drone attacks has likely fostered a new sense of vulnerability. The recent election of Donald Trump as the 47th President of the United States has added a layer of uncertainty to the future of the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Trump has consistently expressed his desire to end the war in Ukraine, even claiming he could achieve peace within 24 hours of taking office. However, the specifics of his plan remain ambiguous, leaving many to wonder how his administration will navigate the complex geopolitical landscape that has developed around the conflict. Analysts argue that it would be naive to believe that a single U.S. administration could dictate the terms of peace unilaterally. The entrenched positions of both Russia and Ukraine make a quick resolution unlikely, and Trump's capacity to influence Russian actions remains speculative. Furthermore, Putin's commitment to his strategic objectives in Ukraine appears resolute, suggesting that any U.S.-led peace initiative will require significant concessions from both sides. Russia's military approach has increasingly focused on a war of attrition, aimed at gradually wearing down Ukrainian forces through relentless assaults. While significant advances have been few and far between, Russian forces have reportedly made incremental gains along a 1,000-kilometer front. Moscow's tactic of grinding down the opposition reflects a strategy that prioritizes sustainable gains over rapid offensives, a decision that may be informed by its desire to preserve resources for the long term. Yet Ukraine, though heavily outmatched in terms of resources, has managed to maintain a strong resistance. Its forces have continued to hold key positions, backed by Western allies who provide critical weapons, training, and funding. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly called on the international community to supply Ukraine with more advanced air defenses, seeking to counter Russia's aerial attacks and protect civilians from the devastating impact of drone warfare. The ongoing war has had a profound impact on the civilian population in both Ukraine and Russia. Cities under frequent attack, such as Kyiv, Odessa, and others along the front lines, are in a near-constant state of repair and rebuilding. Thousands of Ukrainian civilians have been killed, and millions more have been displaced, forced to flee their homes and seek refuge within Ukraine or abroad. In addition, civilian infrastructure, schools, hospitals, transportation hubs, has sustained considerable damage, placing an immense strain on Ukraine's economy and social services. In Russia, although civilian areas have largely been spared, the recent strikes on Moscow have begun to create a sense of unease. The temporary disruption of flights and injuries sustained by civilians in drone attacks have contributed to an environment of tension and anxiety. Furthermore, the economic costs of sustaining a prolonged conflict are substantial, as Russia has increased defense spending to levels not seen since the Cold War. Many question whether diplomacy has any realistic potential to end the war, especially given the entrenched positions of both Russia and Ukraine. Skeptics argue that both nations are too committed to their respective goals to accept a negotiated peace without substantial compromises. Ukraine insists on retaining its territorial integrity, while Russia seeks a degree of influence in Eastern Europe that would make any potential peace agreement complex and fragile. The role of the United States under Trump's administration could, however, introduce new diplomatic possibilities. Trump's approach to foreign policy has historically been characterized by unconventional methods and a willingness to pursue direct negotiations. Yet, without a clear framework that addresses core issues, such as Ukraine's sovereignty and Russia's security concerns, any US-backed peace process may face significant hurdles. As the Ukraine-Russia conflict approaches the 1,000-day mark, the intensity of the fighting, particularly through drone warfare, shows little sign of abating. The repeated assaults on Moscow and Ukrainian cities illustrate the increasing reliance on unmanned systems, which have revolutionized the nature of warfare. Both sides have developed complex strategies involving drones, from Moscow's electronic defenses to Kyiv's strategic drone strikes, signaling a new chapter in the conflict.